ever gonna learn? Yeah, bro, when are you gonna learn? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bald Shredder channel, and yes, I've done it again. I ordered another custom guitar from AliExpress. At this point, I can't even remember how many guitars that I have ordered off of AliExpress. Some of them like straight from a listing, but several of them like completely custom orders. And this one is sort of a semi-custom order. And even though I said a while back, hey, I'm not gonna get any more guitars from AliExpress, I am done with AliExpress. Well, I kind of went back on my word and yeah, I did it again. Bro, come on! AliExpress is basically a scam and you fell for it again and again and again, and it's like, how stupid are you? Oh, so you would never fall for such a scam, would you, Ricks? What do I look like? I wasn't born yesterday, okay? Oh, really? Yeah? Well, how about the time you bought us backstage passes for Motley Crue from some guy named Lockjaw in the McDonald's parking lot? I don't even remember that. And when we got to the stadium and you pulled out these passes, they weren't backstage passes for Motley Crue at all. They were old, expired Blockbuster membership cards. Okay, in my defense, it was really dark and I was distracted by the smell of freshly cooked French fries. Anyway, back to the guitar. Sure thing, bro. So what we're looking at here, guys, is a Super Strat style guitar, very similar to the old Charvels. It's got the Strat body, 2 humbuckers, the Floyd Rose bridge, 1 volume, and a 3-way toggle, with a bolt-on maple neck with the Strat head and the painted headstock to match the body. Now, I said that this was not a completely custom order because this was actually listed on AliExpress as a guitar that you could buy. But like I did with the previous AliExpress guitar, the orange sparkle one, which was the same seller, by the way, I asked them to make a few changes. First of all, I didn't want the Charvel logo on it, so no logo. And I asked them to make the neck thinner and no finish on the neck. If I didn't ask for no finish, it was gonna come with high gloss, which is awful. And I asked them to put the biggest frets that they have, like the super jumbo, the extra jumbo. And I said, if you can do that and not raise the price, like keep the same price that you guys are advertising for it, which was like right about 200 bucks, then I'll place the order. And he said, yeah, no problem. So that's what I did. Now, when I got the guitar, guys, it did not have this bridge on it, and it did not have these pickups. It just had that generic Floyd Rose type bridge on it, which is not very good. And really cheap generic pickups with not a lot of output that didn't sound very good, and they were zebra, like the cream and black, and it had black pickup rings. So you guys can see that I have changed the rings and the pickups. I bought these pickups on AliExpress, the set, both of them. High output ceramic pickups, about 20 bucks, maybe less than 20 bucks for the pair. And the bridge, guys, I did swap out the bridge. So this is a real Floyd Rose. Not an expensive one, it's a Floyd Rose special, but it's definitely better than the bridge that it came with. Okay, now there are definitely some issues with this guitar, and it pretty much just has to do with the bridge. And if you're new to the channel, you might not know that I'm not really a Floyd Rose guy. Like if you look around the room, you go through and look through my videos, you're not really gonna see very many, or very few in fact, videos where I'm using a guitar with a Floyd Rose type bridge. But I wanted to get one to see what I could do with it. Okay, first up, the posts. You know, when I took off the old bridge and then I kind of put that one up there, I looked like, yeah, wow, it's gonna be a perfect fit. I don't need to take the posts out. I'll leave in the original posts because that's a lot more work than I wanted to do, like as far as taking out the posts and putting in the posts to go with this bridge, and I thought it won't make a difference anyway. However, the posts are slightly too close together. I mean, barely. But when you take a close look, you can definitely notice it. Another issue is that the springs seem to be laying on the wood right here in the back of the cavity, right back here. You know, they should be raised up a little bit further so that they're not touching that wood, and I can hear like a kind of like a squeaking sound when I'm using the bar where I think the springs are rubbing on that little bit of wood right there. So the fact that the posts are too close together and that the springs are kind of rubbing on that wood, and maybe also the fact that these are the original posts, which maybe are not as good as the posts that came with the special. All those factors are maybe causing it to not have a perfect tuning stability. Not that it's terrible, but it seems like it should be better. All right, I'm gonna play it for you guys. I'm gonna give you some samples here. I'll do some whammy action at the end so you can see what it sounds like using the Floyd Rose, and you'll hear if it stays in tune or not. Check it out. I don't think this guitar is bringing out the best in me. I don't feel overly inspired to come up with like great riffs and licks when I'm playing it. I mean, I did my best, and you know, maybe on another day I'd play better, but I just don't feel like this guitar is getting the best out of me, and I can't say for sure. Is it because it's got the Floyd on it and I'm not used to having the Floyd, or maybe other factors with the guitar? Because guys, honestly, one of the reasons that I don't like the Floyds is not because, you know, it's so hard to maintain, it's so hard to set up, and those things might be true, but because I'm used to the hardtail bridge, the feeling of it under my hand, when I play a guitar with a Floyd, especially one like this where it's a top mount, it's not recessed, it just feels different under my hand, and I can feel those fine tuners in the back kind of bumping into the edge of my hand, and it just feels a little weird. Yeah, I could get used to it, but I'm not used to a Floyd. I'm used to the hardtail, so that might be one factor. Now, having said that, I do have plans to try to fix this, to try to make it better. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm going to take out one of the posts and widen that hole a little bit so that I can move the post over slightly, because remember I said they're like a little bit too close together, and that's gonna be this post over here. So actually I'm gonna take out both posts, but this one I'm gonna keep in the location that it's at right there. I'm not gonna try to move it over or anything, and I'm just gonna try to move this one outward a little bit so that I'll have the proper spacing for this exact bridge. And that's also gonna help the string placement. So if you take a look at this picture here, guys, look closely, you can see that on the upper part of the fretboard here, that the high E string is too far in. It's not centered over the fretboard like I would prefer it to be. And so I think by moving that post over a tiny bit and being able to seat that bridge in there properly with the posts to go with that bridge, that not only will it be centered over the bridge, that I'm hoping that will make it a little easier for the bridge to return to pitch. Now, as far as the springs, like, touching the wood and laying on the wood back here, well, I bought a new block to put in there. A brass block from Musiclily. I got this on eBay for like 10 bucks. No, it's not the big brass block, it's the little one. It's like the same size as the one that's in there, but it's a little bit longer. So the springs will be, a little bit further down or up, depending on which way you're looking at it. But it should be long enough so that those springs are no longer rubbing on the wood right there. And if for some reason they're still touching the wood, I don't think they will be, but if they are, I can always kind of like sand off that little edge of the wood right there so that they clear that, and then they're not rubbing on there and they're not catching on there, and then I think that's also gonna help with the bridge returning to pitch, I hope. Now guys, I've never done an operation such as this. This will be the first time that I've ever tried to do it. And I'm talking about taking out the post, making the hole a little bit wider, scooting the post over. That means I'll need to put some material on this side of the hole so that the post is not like, jiggling around in there. I'm not 100% sure that I can pull that off, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And if for some reason it doesn't work out and I totally end up like destroying the guitar and ruining it, oh well, I don't really care. Because like all the stuff that I've done with doing my own custom builds or repairing guitars or making parts casters or whatever, you don't learn how to do stuff until you try to do it. So I'm gonna try to do it. I might do it successfully, I might not, but I can guarantee you that I will learn some things during the process. And that definitely has some value. Okay, another thing guys, if you look up here at the headstock, you'll notice there's no retaining bar like you usually see on these Strat head guitars. Where the headstock's not tilted back, it's straight, and it's got the locking nut, but you'll still see like the retaining bar there to push the strings down a little bit, especially if you look at like the Charvels and stuff like that. So I decided, since it doesn't have the retaining bar, I'm gonna add one on there. I put it on there, but yeah, eventually it popped up. The tension from the strings, like wanting to push up, it was just too strong. And I don't know if it's because I didn't screw it down hard enough, like the screws didn't go down into the wood far enough to hold in place. I think another factor is this distance right here between the lock nut and that first little tuner, it's really small. It seems to be smaller than on like a Charvel or whatever. That seems to be a little bit further down. And if it's a little bit further, the tension on those strings right there would be a little bit less. But anyway, whatever. I am not gonna put the retaining bar back. What I am gonna do is kind of fill in those little holes as best I can with like a toothpick and some glue or whatever. And then I'll put a little bit of touch-up paint on there. It won't be perfect, but again, it's like, whatever. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not worried about it. I don't really care. I'm just gonna do my best to see if I can get this into like prime shredding condition. If I can, great. If I can't, oh well, I'll give it my best shot. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for today on the Super Strat Gold Sparkle from AliExpress with the Floyd Rose. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be for me to attempt the repairs and stuff, but there will definitely be a follow-up video to let you guys know how it went. And if you wanna make sure that you don't miss that video, if you're not currently subscribed to me, the Bald Shredder, then you might wanna hit down and hit that subscribe button now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. How stupid are you?